see what you get. And put these almost towards the street. Right here. Yeah. She's getting
Bag over the step.
Yeah,
That would just be this.
I didn't leave myself any room to get through.
Second.
Okay, I guess we're pretty much ready to get started. If you want, you can kind of close that door back there because it'll just warm in here. It is kind of cold in here. Okay. All right, I guess we're ready to get started. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Dawn Elena Criolet, and what I'm going to show you tonight, the name of this workshop is Soulmate Secrets, but I understand that maybe some of you aren't really looking for a soulmate, and that's okay, because what I'm going to teach you tonight is going to be, well, it's really going to be mostly healing. But it's going to help you to let go of any kind of emotional baggage that you may be holding on to. And by the way, that baggage may be conscious or unconscious. So just to tell you a little bit about me, I'm a certified hypnotherapist. And I got into hypnotherapy because I realized at the age of 19, I was in a relationship, my first really major relationship, I guess you could say, and I realized that there was something familiar about this person, and I wasn't sure what it was, and I'm sitting at the dining room table one day, and I'm thinking, what is it about this guy that is so familiar, strangely familiar? And all of a sudden I realized, oh my God, he's just like my stepfather. I mean, the personality and everything. And so it was at 19 years of age that I realized that I had started this pattern with relationships. And what it was, and I have seen this since then, especially with women, only because I work mostly with women. I would love to work with more men, believe me. But I see this all the time. You know, women tend to fall into a pattern. Whatever they feel that they didn't get from their fathers or their stepfathers, they seek it out unconsciously in their relationships, their romantic relationships. And this can be very frustrating, to say the least, because we set ourselves up unconsciously to attract the very thing that we don't want. In other words, you know, I had a stepfather who was very demeaning to me, very emotionally unavailable, and there was no way I could make that man love me, no matter how cute I was, no matter how good I was. I could have won the Nobel Peace Prize, and I would have never gotten anything from him, any kind of recognition whatsoever. And so I didn't, you know, this was at 19 that I realized, you know, I already saw that I had this pattern. But here's the thing, even when you realize that you have the pattern, and probably a lot of you already know this, you see the pattern and so you say, okay, I have this pattern and I got to stop doing this. So you set out to consciously stop doing the pattern, and you find yourself doing the same thing again. Even though you know there's a pattern, you see it. Does anybody out here know what I'm talking about? Okay, okay. And so what I had to realize was that the reason why it wasn't working was because I was trying to work with the conscious mind. The conscious mind is not in control. Have some of you realized this by now? This is why when you try to stop smoking, or you try to go on a diet, or you try to, you know, change any kind of habit, you might be able to do it for a week or two, but usually when you get under stress, and especially, your subconscious will take over again and you'll fall right back into the same habits. And that's because you have not taken it from your conscious to your subconscious. And this is why I got into hypnosis and I learned hypnotherapy, because I wanted to learn how, first of all, how can I help myself? And then once I can help myself and find methods that work for me, then I can help others as well to be able to change things at a deeper level. And so what I'm going to show you tonight, I'm going to show you how to do emotional freedom techniques. And also I'm going to show you a healing technique that I have developed, and I have to give a lot of credit to my guides who basically guided me to go and get some past life regression done because they wanted me to rediscover the type of healing that I had used in other lifetimes that I could not remember. And so I did go and actually it's funny because I used to do so much past life regression, and so for me it has really opened me back up to using this type of healing wherein I move energy, and that's how the healing occurs. And I've just come to call it voice healing because it comes through my voice, it comes through my eyes. And as some of you who know, who have studied quantum physics, you know, all you have to do is put your attention on it and you can move it. It's that easy. So it's kind of based on that. And yet I was doing this in many, many lifetimes. I had just forgotten how to do it. So I thought what I would do tonight, because time goes by so fast, without further ado, I want to start right in with the healing. But first of all, before I do that, I'd like to ask some of you, what kinds of things, if you're here about relationship issues, or if not, is there any other kind of issues that you would like to maybe get into working on tonight with these techniques? If somebody has something.
Financial.
Financial, okay, that's a good one. That's a good one. Okay. And you realize, you know, as a hypnotherapist, one of the things that I've learned is that basically we're programmed from the time, you know, up until about the age of 10, we are in a state of hypnosis because we're in that theta brainwave state when we're children, up until around the age of 10. Now, you know, different people say it's 13, 15, whatever, but anyhow, it's somewhere around that age, yeah. And so basically, we're being programmed up until the age of 10. So everything you have learned about money, relationships, you learned all that stuff. You were programmed before you were 10 years old. It's scary, isn't it? I mean, now I know why I got so screwed up, because, you know, if some of you are like me and didn't come from the perfect home, you know, you can see why you've taken on some of the beliefs and attitudes that you have, and it's not your fault. And I'm not here to blame your parents either, you know, they did the best they could. But what we can do, though, with these techniques is we can start to heal and first identify what they are. Because, you know, when The Secret came out and everything, and everybody started using affirmations, and then some people were noticing that they were having some problems, like it didn't seem to work for them. And one of the things that I have found as a hypnotherapist is that, well, imagine if you have a really dirty, greasy wall, and you go and you just put paint over top of it. What's going to happen? It's going to bleed right through. And so that's kind of what saying affirmations over, I mean, especially someone who had a really maladaptive kind of childhood, and then you just say, well, you just say a bunch of affirmations all day long. Well, you can do that until the cows come home. And it's kind of like doing, you know, pouring pink paint over a bunch of grease on a wall. It's going to keep bleeding through. Because what you need to do first, and I'm not saying affirmations won't still work for that person, but what I'm saying is it's going to be a very long, frustrating time to try to get those affirmations to really sink in. A much faster way to do it is what I'm going to show you tonight, is to remove the negative first, and then you can install positive, and it goes in much easier that way.